You may not think that shopping at Costco is possible when you live in a small RV, but today we'll show you how. Hello and welcome to Adventurous Way. I'm Matt.
And I'm Diana, and in previous video I showed you how we make meal plan and our shopping list. Our shopping list is ready, so now it's time to head to Costco.
But before we jump in the truck and head off to the store, there's a few tips that we want to share first. We tend to batch as many of our errands into one day as possible, just so we're not spreading them out and wasting time driving all over the place. But if you're going to do that, you're going to get hungry, and it is not a good idea to go shopping hungry. So make sure you have some food before you go out.
Next, we gather all our grocery bags and our cool bag, and we'll put some ice packs from the freezer into the cool bag so that the frozen stuff stays a little bit fresher on our long way back from Costco.
And you wouldn't think we need it here in Vermont right now, but it's a habit we've got into and it works pretty well for us, so why not?
All these sweets and chocolates look very tempting, but we have a rule that we are not buying any sweets and chocolates at Costco quantities, with the only exception being Christmas.
We really like to buy the almonds here at Costco because we can use them to make almond butter and almond milk, and it is so much cheaper than buying those things normally in the store. And they're really easy to make. So we've just got 3 of these packs of diced tomatoes because they are so much cheaper than we find elsewhere. The cheapest we typically find canned tomatoes around here is more than $1 certainly, and for the organic ones that we find in the store, you're paying $2 or even more than that each time. With these, 8 for $6, it's an absolute steal. So we've stocked up on those. We're in one place for a while, so we've got the space to put those in the storage bay if we need to. And we can use those to make some tomato-based sauces. We'll get through these in no time. Pizza!
Admit it, is pizza the reason you like to come to Costco?
It's the only reason I come to Costco. So we've been to Costco, we are now at Walmart. Normally what we do is we start with the bigger stores, the Costco, the Walmart, and then we'll move on to things like a Trader Joe's or a Sprouts, where we can find some of the things that we can't always find at those bigger stores, or maybe we prefer to buy from those grocery stores. Today, we think we can get most of what we need actually between Costco and Walmart, and there'll just be a few more items that we'll pick up at Hannaford or the Co-op tomorrow. We do have a really good co-op near us in Vermont where we're camping, and we do like to try and support the local shops if we can. The co-op also has a fantastic selection of some local and organic produce, so we do like to try and buy those things there if we can.
We're back home from our Costco trip. We shop at Costco about every 4 to 6 weeks. So produce-wise, we try to buy as much as we can eat before it goes bad. And for other dry stuff, we try to buy so that it lasts until, next Costco trip, which might be 6 weeks away.
So let's take a look at some of the things that we bought at Costco. This is actually probably fairly typical of what we would normally buy at Costco. And really there's 3 big groups of things that we tend to buy. The first is the produce. You can see we've got the bell peppers, the avocados, cucumbers, spinach, tomatoes, the apples, the blueberries. These are things that we found from our price matching of different places that Costco tends to be very, very competitive on. These avocados are less than $1 each. That's better than we normally see anywhere else. These bell peppers, we will take these, we'll chop them up and freeze them. Spinach works really nicely as well. So that's something that we can find Costco cheaper than we can elsewhere. I also love that it comes in these bags. They fit into the fridge here much better than some of the boxes that you normally find. The second big category of stuff is meat. So we didn't buy that much meat today. We've got the eggs in there as well, actually, but the meat, we got the ground beef and we got the frozen chicken breasts. Again, we just find that the meat at Costco is just a lot cheaper, and it seems to be really good quality compared to what we can find elsewhere. Not that you can't find good meat elsewhere, it's just a lot cheaper at Costco. It does come in fairly large packs. It's a 3-pack of ground beef in there. So we tend not to buy too many different things, we just don't have space for that. But kind of one bag like this full of meat tends to work fairly well. And then the final group of things that we tend to buy at Costco are the things you can see at the back here. More of the dry products or the pantry products. We talked briefly about the diced tomatoes in the store. Again, they're just so much cheaper than we can find elsewhere. These are organic diced tomatoes, so they're really good quality. We'll use those in chilies and marinara sauces and all sorts of things like that. We've never bought this many at once before, but because we are in one place for the whole winter, we can store these no problem. Nuts, you can see we've got the almonds back there. We couldn't find the raw cashews that we're after. We do find in general, every Costco is a bit different, and every time you go to Costco, it's a bit different. And nuts in particular seems to be something that's fairly hit or miss. We tried to find the raw cashews today, but we couldn't. The almonds that we got, as we talked about in the store, are something that we just think is such a good deal. We can use those, like we said, to make the almond butter and the almond milk, so we love getting those. The other big advantage of that is it means we don't have to have all these different products in the RV. Rather than having to have jars of almond butter, cartons of almond milk, and almonds as well, which would take up a load of space, and you can't use almond milk in place of almond butter and vice versa. So having the almonds gives us the choice to do whatever we want to do. A couple of the other ones, the almond crackers back there that you can see, these are definitely a guilty pleasure for us. We love these things, by which I mean Diana really loves these things. They're really good. We found those on one of our first Costco trips, and we really like them, so we keep buying them. And the quinoa, we have a lot of quinoa. We eat a lot of quinoa rather than rice and things like that, and so we will get through that no problem in the next month or so. And then we also got some Greek yogurt. We've never bought Greek yogurt at Costco before, so this is something of a new experiment for us, but it seemed like a good price. The date on it's going to last for about another month, and we've got space in the fridge this time, so we figured we'd give that a go. But as you can see, overall, these are the kind of things that we like to buy at Costco. These are the things that work for us. So let us know in the comments if you found any really good deals, because this is what we found, but we'd love to know your ideas as well.
So Matt is the fridge packing king, so he will do that.
Tetris time. Okay, let's get the freezer stuff in first. So we're going to put the chicken in the freezer, and we're going to put the ground beef in the freezer. The chicken's already frozen. The ground beef is not, though. So actually, one of the good tips is, if you can, buy things pre-frozen from Costco, because going into an RV freezer, things don't freeze as quickly. So if we can buy them frozen, that really helps. Otherwise, they don't get cold very quickly. Usually for the first few days, it's carnage in the freezer because it's just wherever things happen to fit. And then as it gets empty, we can rearrange it and it all works nicely again. So what I tend to do in the fridge is take out anything that is kind of like half full, like this, if we're going to eat it up. Or if I know that it's something we're not going to use in the next week, I'll stuff this back into a corner. So let's see what we need to get in. So the yogurts need to go in. Oh, they fit. I was so nervous those yogurts weren't going to fit in our fridge, and we were going to have to do some decanting or something. Look at that. Perfect. So in an RV fridge, what we find is the top is a lot colder than the bottom. So we don't want to put anything at the top that we're worried about freezing. I can tell you from experience, eggs when they're frozen are not nice. So we don't want those to freeze, so we won't put those at the top. Towards the top, we'll put things like cheese or things we're not too concerned about freezing. One of the worst things to freeze is cucumber. Diana gets upset when I let those freeze. I'll move those to the bottom, I think, in a minute. Okay, that spinach can go in the bottom, and I think those cucumbers will fit in nicely. This is a lot easier today than normal. Often when we're doing this, we've got 2 weeks worth of food or more to go in. So I feel we're somewhat flush with space today. So we'll see how much we can get in. I'm hoping we can get most of this in, including things like this that often we wouldn't bother with. These want to go in, they really do. I'll put them down here. Ah, there we go.
So we usually start with the avocados, 1 bag in the fridge so that they stay green for longer. And then 1 bag we will leave out so that it ripens.
They both fit in there today, so I'll leave those in there for now. With these peppers, these huge bags are just too big to go in one go. So what we do is we open the bag up and then just put the individual peppers in the fridge.
And if you're really tight for space, then some of the bell peppers we'll chop right away and put them in the freezer.
And there we go. That's all the stuff that needs to go in the fridge. In the fridge.
And next, I will pack the pantry. One trick to deal with bulk item storage is to decant them in smaller containers. So for example, we buy some of the spices at Costco sizes, and then we decant them at the regular spice containers so that they fit in our spice rack, and then the rest of it is deeper in the cupboard. The same, for example, with chia seeds. I transfer chia seeds to a smaller bag, and that I can access right here in the front of the cupboard, and the rest of the bulk bag we store in our totes under the table. We do the same thing with olive oil. The big Costco olive oil is stored somewhere else, but the one that we use for cooking every day, we put that in a smaller bottle that is accessible right in the kitchen.
We only discovered Costco after we started our RVing journey, and it was probably a good thing that that's the case, because honestly, if I'd found Costco when we had a house, I think things would have been a little bit different. But I hope this video has given you some ideas of how, even if you are in an RV like we are, or a tiny home, or a small space, there are some great deals to be had at Costco, and we save a lot of money by buying the things that you saw today at Costco.
So make sure you're subscribed for more adventures, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. So now the shopping list is ready and we're ready to go shopping. Too much ready.
We're ready for everything.